Aldon Smith news, and it's really important that we get this just right and that we're sensitive to the situation. Mike Fisher in Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, the Star right down the street, and Aldon Smith, I do not think will be camping out at the Star anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong, but two sources now telling us that there are issues. And that's the word that they're using. That's the word they choose to use. That's the word that I will choose to use. You know Aldon Smith's history in the NFL, a history of brilliant ups, a history of really near tragic downs. The ups included in his first 2 years in the NFL, starting with the Niners, 33 and a half sacks in 2 years. I believe that number's right. And you're watching him those first 2 years and going, this kid's going to the Hall of Fame. He was, of course, incredible. The ups also included his return to the NFL after almost half a decade for the 2020 Cowboys. They rescued him and he rescued them. It was really a wonderful story. I do recall saying at the time, though, that some of Aldon's behavior, alleged behavior, and I don't just mean the stuff that got him suspended via the substance and alcohol program in the NFL. I mean accusations of violence, frightening stuff. And the fact that he, as much as we know, as far as we know, was able to put that part of it behind him and play for the Cowboys and play very effectively. Had 5 sacks for the year, right? And was very hot early on. Maybe lost his sea legs late in the year. But there's no question he was a force. You will recall that the Cowboys passed on an opportunity to trade him at the deadline. Now, maybe the thinking was, first of all, he can help us win now. And second, we might say goodbye to him after 1 year, end up with a comp pick, that sort of thing. I was also told that one of the issues was going to be, as we entered this offseason, that maybe unbeknownst to Mr. Jerry Jones, the mesh in the locker room was not perfect. There was issues there as well. Not all of them necessarily his fault, just maybe a kind of a chemistry thing that caused some people who have knowledge of what goes on inside of that building and conversations that I've had with those people, just suggesting that, listen, don't count on Aldon Smith necessarily wanting to come back here. Then you had the change to the 3-4, from a mix and match 3-4 to what the Cowboys are going to do under Dan Quinn this year in a 4-3. Listen, Aldon Smith can play football, so you want to put him at defensive tackle or defensive end in a 4-3, I have no question that will work. But the issues have nothing to do with football. This is off the field stuff that Aldon Smith is trying to work out in his personal life. It's football business, but other than that, it's none of our business, except that just as a person, we do wish him well. We didn't get a chance, obviously because of COVID, to really personally interact at all with Aldon Smith, although his teammates find him to be a delightful person, fun person, smart guy, and obviously very talented football player. Unlike with 2 other guys, defensive linemen, who've come through here in recent years, who we did get to know, and the locker room got to know too. This locker room has largely embraced Randy Gregory, and so far his return to football has worked out very well. The Cowboys should have played him twice as many snaps as they played him last year. And the fact that Mike Nolan didn't do that is part of the reason Mike Nolan is no longer the defensive coordinator. And I've gotten to know Randy Gregory and really just think very highly of the way he's built and the way he's trying to rebuild. And by the way, a guy who really does love football. David Irving is a name that comes up in this kind of conversation. And I got to know David Irving very well. And I found him to be an engaging person who doesn't have a great passion for football, and that's okay. David had off the field issues, of course, and Randy Gregory, off the field issues, of course. The Raiders have signed up David Irving. I hope that works. The Cowboys don't exactly say we're counting on Randy. In fact, Stephen Jones will be careful to not say it that way. But the idea of Randy Gregory as a starting defensive end opposite Tank Lawrence on the other end, that's a good way to start rebuilding your defensive line in with 4 down linemen in a 4-3 alignment. I said this about Randy Gregory, and he didn't always like it when I said it, but this isn't for Aldon Smith. This isn't about football right now. This is about getting back to where he needs to be just as a person, behaviorally. And those are the issues that he should focus on. And again, issues is the key word. So our thoughts are with him. We think that because even though it's personal business, there's also football involved. I say this a lot about the Dallas Cowboys or any other sports team, high-profile sports team. Yes, the Jones family owns them, but the Dallas Cowboys are a public trust. Jerry, in a way, is the manager of a museum, and the museum is a public museum. Now, you don't really own a piece of the museum. You don't really own a piece of the Dallas Cowboys, but you give enough of your time and your money and your heart that we should feel like you do. And that, so the community is part of the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are part of the community, and the Cowboys are a public trust in a sense to me. And so when you are a high-profile executive for that public trust, for instance, a Dallas Cowboys defensive end, that does become news, and it becomes important news. So I try to be delicate and careful about observing somebody's private business, and that certainly is what this is with Aldon Smith. At the same time, there is a football business and your concerns about it to be dealt with as well. For that reason, I need to clear up a couple football things. The Cowboys are not waiting to see how Aldon Smith fits into a 4-3. That's not why he's not signed. I hope for everybody's sake, if Aldon Smith is good and the Cowboys are good, I hope the relationship can continue. I think that'd be great. But I don't know where media got that from. That's just not true. There's also a report that, it was going to be fine, but then they signed Terrell Basham. And no. That has nothing to do with it either. They were not weighing Aldon versus Basham. That's false, because they were not weighing Aldon at all, because the Cowboys recognize that while Basham is ready to come be a football player and line up as an edge rusher, defensive end here, that Aldon Smith at this moment is not ready to do that. Hopefully that moment will come for him. Find our videos here on our channel. You can see our conversation about the really unfortunate back surgery for the rookie prospect and a prospect to go number 10 overall in the NFL draft to the Cowboys. That's Caleb Farley, and there are some issues there, and we talk about it. We've got a blooper reel. Such a doofus. You can find that right now in the premium community. We've also got a discussion about where the Cowboys are salary cap wise and how the salary cap works. And this time I just use pieces of paper that say checking account on it, bank account, instead of actually showing you, hey, here's my bank account, dummy. Bree Amaranthus and I will also be at the Star here shortly, and we will discuss with you issues that include, are the Cowboys better than Washington, or are we selling Washington way short? Because Washington in this draft doesn't need to draft a starter in the first round to still be even better than they were last year. We'll talk about a backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys idea that also has to do with Washington. And I'll give you my dream scenario. My Dallas Cowboys pick number 10 dream scenario. We'll discuss all that over the course of the day. So keep it here on the channel. Thank you for subscribing. About 23,000 of us, closing in on that now, hanging out together. Please continue to spread the word to Cowboys Nation. We're not yanking your chain here. It's the straight dope. No time for baloney. Fish out.